I want to talk about follow-up again. We've already talked a little bit about who to follow up with. If you had 1 hour a day, who are your priority prospects? But now I want to talk a little bit about how long you should follow up. I think a lot of people don't always know when to quit, and sometimes people feel like, if they haven't said yes already, then maybe I should just stop. Well, I'd like to be a little bit more systematic about that. One of the things that we did is we looked at our own sales processes, because every time we try to teach somebody to do something, we try it on ourselves first, see if it works, before we try it on any one of our clients. So one of the things that we did is we tried to look at the number of different clients that actually ended up purchasing from us. And we found that the quickest turnaround in terms of a sale was 1 day. So somebody called us and decided that they wanted to purchase. They made the transaction over the telephone. Fantastic. That's great. 1 day. The longest one, however, took over 420 days. So from 1 day to 420 days. Now, those sales were of equal value. How do you make sure that you don't lose that sale that came in 420 days later? You follow up. So how do you follow up? Well, I have basically 2 rules that you use when you're following up. You basically keep following up until that prospect says to you, stop following me up. That's condition A. Or condition B is when that prospect dies. So really, those are the only 2 situations in which you should stop following up. Is when they've said, don't follow me up, or when they cease to exist. So really, you can continue following up forever. And now, obviously, it takes time and money to follow up. So how do you do this? Well, the best follow-up should actually happen right after the initial phone call. I use a rule of 3. Follow up within 3 days, then at 3 weeks, then at 3 months, and then every 3 months after that. Now, this process works. I've seen it generate increasing conversion rates from 60% conversion rate to bringing conversion rates up 15% higher than that to 85%. So we're talking about a serious increase in conversion rates because you're following up. And to not do that is an incredible waste of money and an incredible waste of resources. So following up is extremely important. There are lots of different ways to follow up. The best way to follow up is to actually phone people. And phoning somebody every 3 months is not a tremendous exercise in time and effort. As long as you've got a good database with all the information that you've collected over time and refer to that information in the telephone call, then that follow-up will be truly useful. So follow up, follow up, follow up. What I've often found is that other companies, your competitors, are not following up. We did a study where we evaluated a whole bunch of different companies in the same space. We contacted them on a Saturday because they typically didn't answer the phones on Saturdays. And we left our telephone number and our name. And then we waited to see who would follow up. And we found that only a very small percentage of people called us back. Less than 50% even called us back. That's the first step in follow-up. Then a smaller percentage of people continued to call us. Other people put us on their email list. Over time, after a year, out of 30 of these places that we called, only 3, 10%, continued following up. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't make purchase decisions sometimes for up to a year. I might think about something that I want, or think about something that I need, and then life takes over. I put it aside. Other priorities happen. Perhaps I'm not completely satisfied with the solutions available yet. Perhaps I'm happy with what I already have. It could be anything. But it's the person that continuously follows up. They're the ones who own my brain. They're the ones, when I think about a car, or when I think about a lawyer, or when I think about a dentist, or when I think about a massage therapist, they're the ones that are going to come into my head because they followed up. Because they're in my email inbox every month, or they're calling me every 3 months. And as long as they're polite, and as long as they add value on that follow-up call, I'm more than happy for them to follow me up. I don't know if you've ever been in that same situation where you were interested in purchasing something, life took over, other priorities came into the forefront, and you forgot that you wanted that thing. And then a couple of months later, that salesperson phones, reminds you that you wanted what you wanted, and you're like, great, thank you, I forgot. That happens too. Sometimes people that don't say yes immediately, they just have simply forgotten that they want what you're offering. And they need a little gentle reminder that this is something that they still might want. And often you'll find when you follow up that those sales will happen just like that. So following up is important. You have to know who to follow up, but you also have to know how long to follow up. And we also have to know another important aspect of follow-up, which I'll cover in my next video.